Hi, beautiful people. Round two. Let's see if we have any people. We got a wonderful chat with the lovely Megan Evans. And do I have anyone? The director of production is on vacation. There we go. We got Marion in the house. And we got Megan. So Megan, you're here. Now what you need to do is log out and log back in and hit request to join. So Megan, just log out and log back in, and there's going to be a little button, request to join. And then we can chat. Anyway, in the meantime, while we're waiting for Megan to log in and out, dance to the one and only Mavis Staples while we wait for Megan to come in. Because Megan is going to take us there, and you're going to have a good time, trust me. So, hopefully... Aha! Joan, we have the lovely Joan. Everyone say hi to Joan. Joan, tell me where you're from. Production team is on vacation. There we go. I think we are live. Live! 1, 2, 3, live! We're live. Yes.
Yay.
I love it when we do it.
I had to restart my phone. I think that was the problem.
It's all good. Don't even worry. It's all good. This is not round 2. It's round 1. Hi, beautiful.
Hi.
All right, we got 5 people. Do you think we're going to get up to 10 today? I don't know. Could be a good day.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
All right, so let's get going. We got some really great stuff. If anyone has any questions for Megan, put them through. If I don't read them, I'm learning. Megan might read them.
Yeah.
If Megan doesn't read them, Chico might read them. Anyway, so I'm so excited. My notes go.
Your face.
Huh?
So I said it's good to see your face. We talk on the
I
phone.
know. I even put makeup on. I did the girly girl thing.
Face.
And I put colors, which we are going to talk about. Colors. All right, so I see them. So let me begin this intro by telling you all 5 of you beautiful people a little bit of who Megan is and what fun stuff we're going to talk about. So Megan grew up in Charleston, South Carolina, lived in New York and LA for 14 years, beginning in the film industry, and then built her personal stylist business in 2010. Worked with some of the top clients in the industry in many different realms. She was diagnosed with MS 18 years ago at the young age of 24. Now at the young age and hot age of 42. She's been on a journey of many lessons, teachers, doctors, successes, and failures. We're going to dive deep into the new program that Megan has launched. Oh, Joan is on here, by the way. So Joan might be part of your, yeah. But before we dive in, I do 5 questions. Before we dive in, I need to kind of let people know how we met.
Okay.
So we met in 2018, in the fall of 2018, when we went to Gabby Bernstein's masterclass for Spirit Junkie. So if any of you are on here and you know who Gabby is, or you are a Spirit Junkie, just do a high five. And the funny thing about Megan is I had just been diagnosed with diabetes. In April of 2018, the background noise is New York, for anyone who's not from here.
I've got correction.
A little noise for you. Megan knows New York noise.
I feel like New York now.
Yeah. So I remember meeting Megan. I walked into the cafeteria with my bag of ingredients and my food ready to go to the chef to say, I need a little help with what I have to eat, and these are the things that I have to eat. And meanwhile, I see Megan going into the kitchen and talking to the chef too. I automatically was like, that's going to be my girl. She has something going on with her health-wise, and she needs to make sure that the food is on point.
Mm-hmm.
Second time we kind of connected was in class with, I think we were about 100 people, right?
Yeah, we were.
And it was the first time that Gabby taught that she had all men. First class that she ever
Yeah.
did.
That
Yeah.
she had, yeah. Oh, all women, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, sorry. Hello. Well, I'm a woman. All women, no men. First time ever in her history. And she was pregnant with her baby,
right.
Oliver.
Very cool.
And Megan was, I think, about 8 rows ahead of me. And I think it was day one. And Megan is telling her story.
Mm.
And I am blown away by her story, as you're going to learn about. And I automatically write on a little piece of paper, we have to talk, and you have to hear about this man, Anthony Williams, medical medium. Does anyone here know medical medium?
Yeah.
Now, she could have been like, girl, you're a freak. Who are you? But from that day on, we were like 2 peas in a pod.
Yep.
And the third interaction, and then we'll get into the question, we had a lunch break every day. It was a very intense, like 8 hours of class. And we had 1 hour for lunch. And what did Megan and I do? We went to the dance class. They had a dance class for 1 hour. And it was all, I can't remember the name, Megan, but it was all about movement.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to find out. Do you remember the name?
I don't, but it was wonderful. It was like slow and it was improv and it was awesome.
Yeah, it was improv, which we're going to talk about. It kind of had like a theater element.
Mm-hmm.
It was about community. It was about moving your body. And anyone who knows Gabby Bernstein knows the work is very intense. It's very, you dive deep, deep, deep into all the little nooks and crannies to get the best of you. So that movement and that expansion of body for 1 hour, I didn't eat, but I moved. And then Megan and I were on the dance floor every day at 12 o'clock. And I'm like, okay, girl, we're going to change the world. I'm ill. You're ill. We're healing. We want to teach. We want to change the world. So here we are, 1922, 4 years later.
Wow. Three.
Here we are.
Yeah.
4 years later. And we're going to dive into Megan now. So the first question that I have for you, Megan, is when anyone gets, yeah, huh?
I was just saying hello. There's some new people. Andy Morgan.
Yeah. Hi, Andy. Andy here. Whoever. Oh, we have Kevin. Oh my God, Megan, we might get to 10.
Yep.
So everyone, this is Megan. Everyone say hi. Put in where you're from. Anyway, Megan has an autoimmune disease. I have an autoimmune disease. Megan and I have so many similarities that we have navigated through healing through food and many other things. But Megan is going to talk about her new program, and you're going to hear all about it. But the first thing in the intro of diagnosis, you were 18 years ago, and I'm coming up to my 4-year anniversary, is you got to navigate towards doctors. And that in itself is a nightmare. I fired the first 2 endocrinologists that I had. I had one endocrinologist who told me if I wasn't vegan, I would die. Mm. And the other endocrinologist, while typing on the computer, said, you have, on the first day of diagnosis, you have type 1 diabetes and you have pancreatic and spleen cancer, without looking at me. I fired them both. Mm-hmm. And I dived into everything I could get my hand on, from Anthony, to every kind of teacher, through mind body code, like to everything where I could learn what's going on with my body on a much deeper level. Mm-hmm. And what do I need to learn?
Right.
And then if I learn it, can I teach others? So Megan, the first question for you, my dear, when you first got diagnosed 18 years ago, you lost the feeling of your left side of your body. Your left leg buckled. Mm-hmm. You got vertigo. And your first doctor told you you have A, B, or C. You have a stroke, you have a brain tumor, or you have MS.
Yeah.
Megan went for MS. The next doctor, I can't remember. There was another doctor who did something awful. So tell us about the choices that you make in picking the right doctor, the right ones, the wrong ones, and how you can kind of weave getting your power back. It's kind of hard.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Well, I didn't, so I was 24 when I was diagnosed. And yes, you told the story correctly. And I was like, if those are my options, I'll choose door number 3, please. Like, I'd rather have MS than have a brain tumor or a stroke. So yeah, so that sort of started the journey. And I too, my first neurologist, very first neurologist told me, he looked at me, I don't even know if he looked at me actually, and said, it's as if you've had a stroke, you'll end up in a wheelchair one day. And I looked at my mom and was like, we're out, we're done. I'm never coming back to this man. Because I wasn't going to let somebody tell me how I was going to end up for the rest of my life. Like, that's just, we have control. So that was my first lesson in really being my own advocate. And thank God for my mother, who really also knew that for her own self, from her own journey with her body. So she was like totally on the same page with me and really taught me that. So thank God for her. So I would say it is a journey. And to me, I would say, I mean, to everyone, I would say that you have to interview multiple people. It's like you're interviewing them for a job. I would get second, third, and fourth opinions if you have to. And I would you really need to resonate with your doctor. And I will tell you, like, I'm 18 years in and I've probably had 8 neurologists, and I've walked out of multiple neurologist offices over the years because I've been New York, LA, Charleston, Nashville. Like, I've walked out of so many offices, I'm telling you. Because I even had a doctor a few years ago tell me in Nashville, you'll end up disabled in 10 years if you don't get on this specific drug. And I was like, what? No.
And they might be getting paid by that drug too.
He was the man who gave all the talks on that specific drug. He was like on the committee for that specific drug in all of Tennessee. So I almost wrote a letter to him and to the board and whatever. And I was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that because it's not going to change anything. He's doing it with all these other people too. And it made me really sad for all the people who don't advocate for themselves. So it's a journey, and I feel like you have to learn to resonate. Like, if you don't resonate with your doctor and they won't listen to you, then it's like, move on. Keep finding someone else. Keep interviewing more people. I literally went to my neurologist here in Charleston after all these years of all these different neurologists. He is the best one I've had. And I literally recently grabbed him by the hand. I put my hands around his hand. And I said, you have no idea how grateful I am for you. And I had tears in my eyes. And it wasn't tears of sadness. It was tears of gratitude and joy. I've never felt anything like that. And I just thanked him so tremendously for listening to me and hearing me and knowing that if you're sensitive, okay, no, I wouldn't put you on that drug. If you're super sensitive, like you're telling me you are, then I would put you on this. I wouldn't put you on that. And I was like, oh my God, he's actually listening to me. So that's a miracle in and of itself. So I would that's my answer to my long-winded answer to your question.
No, I mean, I think 2 things come up. One, it's amazing that you had your mom. You kind of had an ally and
Yes.
someone who had gone through her own journey. And by the way, for all the people coming on, I'm waving, but I'm not good at like waving and talking. So I am waving. And we're 7 people. So I'm wishing for 10. That's my lucky number. But it's not about the numbers. But James, I don't know if that's your friend, James Will, artist. So welcome, James. James, put in where you're from and accept my apology for not being able to wave back. Anyway, it's great that you had an ally and a partner. I have an ally and a partner, my husband, but we're not always on the same page when it comes. I'm a little bit more woo-woo, and I do a lot of research, and I'm really into looking at like a much bigger picture of, mind, body code, and like Anthony Williams. And my husband, who I love, might not be on board, but he's on board that he wants me to be healthy.
Is He's support.
I think you nailed it. Yeah, support. And
Yeah.
he loves it. But I think that you nailed it when you said, when you're able to get a doctor who can actually listen to you and hear, like, you know, I'm Megan Evans, and I'm really sensitive to certain things, and I've known that since the day I met you. But to have a doctor not push that away and hear you is mind blowing. When just a little story, when I was told I had pancreatic cancer, a little shout out to my friend John, who just lost the battle with that. It's a brutal cancer, and everyone say hi to Karina.
Nice, Serena.
Karina, where are you from again? Iowa? I know it's an I. Indiana, Iowa, one of the I's. Anyway, everyone say hi to Karina. So when I was diagnosed with the doctor who did not look at me, typing away in the computer, and she's like, "Hi, have a good day. You have type 1." I'm like, "Type who?" "And you have pancreatic and spleen cancer." I'm like, "Motherfucker, what?" My brother, who is beautiful human being, actually created a pancreatic center in Washington Heights because his partner died of it, and he comes from financial means, and so he created this. And he said, "Di, you're going here. We're going to take care of it." And I went in, and I had all the it's MRI. So I think it was an MRI. Yeah, when you go through the machine. Yeah. So I had the MRI, and I sitting in the office, and I'm a mess. I'm like, I don't like. Am I dying? Like, am I dying? And a little French doctor came in. He had me in tears because he said, I'm not going to remember exactly, but the first word is the most important thing. He said, "We are in the clear." We. I've never heard that before. We. And from that place, he is a pancreatic surgeon. I would say 90% of his patients die.
Right.
It's a brutal cancer.
Yeah.
And here he could walk in, and my brother obviously is somewhat of his boss, but here he could walk in and say, "We're good.
Yeah.
You
Right.
got this."
Yeah.
You know, he said, "You have some polyps in your gallbladder. Your spleen is okay." They read the film wrong. Remember, people, when you get a film, when they do a CAT scan, no, when they did a sonogram, they did a and NAH baby. Do you know NAH baby, Megan?
No.
All right, but high NAH baby. But when you do a sonogram, I did a sonogram on all my organs in my stomach. I did my stomach, my spleen, my gallbladder, and then the pancreas. I had the MRI. The technician who was paid hourly could read it wrong.
Oh yeah.
Okay, really pay attention to that, people.
Yeah.
So they read a dirty film. They read it wrong.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have spleen cancer. My spleen was gorgeous. So that's my little thing. Pay attention, take back your control, do due diligence, and find your people. At this moment right now, I don't have an endocrinologist. During the pandemic, I had Medicaid. It was the best healthcare I've had, and I had the best endocrinologist I've had in my life. And she is like, "You are my hero. You are crushing it. You are phenomenal." And I asked a lot of questions, and now I'm back with the hotel, and I don't have an endocrinologist. It is what it is. So, question number 2. I need you to educate us, all of us non-MSers. And Joan, if you're still here, punch in the phone that you're here. We'd love to know if, Joan, you're still here. But you mentioned about flare-up. So educate all of us. What is a flare-up? How it gets triggered? What does it feel like? And what do you do to calm it?
So, I mean, it could be triggered by so many different things, and I've had many of
Joan
them.
is here.
Okay,
Joan
good.
is here.
Hi, Joan.
Okay.
So yeah, it can be triggered by so many different things. I've had triggers. Stress has triggered some before, like big stress, like a big move. For me personally, I was living in an apartment once in LA where the gas of the stove was leaking and I didn't know it. And I was sleeping in an apartment with leaking gas, like very subtly, tiny bits. And that led to a bad flare up. I tried to detox once, and I'm so sensitive that like I was trying to detox and I couldn't handle it, and that led to a flare up. So I mean, it could be so many different things
Anything.
for different people.
What did it
What
feel like? Like, what did it look like? What did it feel like?
Well, I mean, I've had them where my worst one ever was at the end of 2017, and I lost feeling from my neck down. So
On both sides?
everything, the whole thing. It
Wow.
started. My stomach felt like I was being squeezed, like somebody was like hugging me really, really tight. It wasn't painful, but it was just uncomfortable. And so that it started with that, and then it moved down to my legs, and then it moved up to my arms, and then I was like, something's like really wrong. And the way to get it under control, so what it is it's when you get new lesions, and when they're active. So
When you get new what?
lesions in your brain or on your
Lesion.
spine, and they can, and so so it's like inflammation, right? And it causes it's almost like it causes a scab essentially. So it's like then it causes scarring with the lesions, and like once you don't want them to be active. So the best thing, so then what you do in that situation, you have to get on steroids. Like there's not a way to
It's
get
the
out.
only way, right?
It's the only way to get the inflammation down,
To calm the flare.
hopefully save your mobility and not have permanent dysfunction of certain things. So I have certain things where I have some, like I don't have full feeling in my hands all the time. So I have certain things that didn't fully come back. But that's the disease, unfortunately. But
Oh my God, everyone say hi to Ryan. My nephew Ryan is on here.
Hi,
Ryan, watch from the beginning, but that's very cool. That's really, we're talking about autoimmune, and my girlfriend Megan, my beautiful girlfriend Megan has MS, and we're getting to the big question, and we're talking about her launching her new program.
Yeah.
So the flare up, it's really steroids is the only thing that you can do.
And that can calm it down and hopefully get it under control quickly. So you want to get on them. If it's bad, you want to get it on them as soon as possible to get it to calm down. I hate steroids, but sometimes you have to have them, and it's just what it is. I just.
And how long are you on steroids for?
It depends on the flare up. Usually it's like a 3-day dose of IV steroids.
Okay.
And the IVs take like an hour. Sometimes if it's a really bad flare, but can be like a 5-day dose. I've had it where I've had 5 days of it, and then I think like 10 days later they did 3 more days because they were trying to get more things under control that hadn't fully come back yet. So, but that was the most I've ever had. That was end of 2017. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's right before I met you.
Yes. Yeah, because that was.
And you haven't had any major flare up. You have ongoing, but not major like that, right?
Yeah, no, I haven't had anything since then. Not like. No.
Okay. Well, question number 3. We're up to 9 people. If we get to 10 people, all of you get a free trip to Hawaii. Not bad. I don't know who's going to pay, but whatever. We're about to get to your program, but I want to talk about color. Now, everyone knows I'm a New Yorker, and the New York color is black. I love black. I love black. I love black. But today I wore color, and this is like one of my favorite shirts, with a little tank and my little third eye. But so you color, obviously, your profession was a personal stylist and image consultant. So color is huge. You could probably look at my skin tone and know what color is good for me. I know that you always say, how do you feel? I know I feel kind of hot when I wear red. Like I like how I look in red. I don't look good in green. So now you're kind of bringing in your professional background of 20, 30 years or 20 years of being an image consultant, of learning about color, to how can we learn how to heal with color. And you talk a lot about that in your new program in regards to healing. So why does color matter?
Yeah. Really quickly, I'm going to answer Dancy Jan's question about, do you need to watch out for your bones when you're on steroids, I would say to answer that.
Great question. Yeah.
It's a great question. I would say, yeah, I mean, I take so many supplements. So yes, I would say calcium and magnesium are important. Honestly, when you're on steroids, you just do what you can do to like feel okay. I hate them so much. And you don't sleep. They keep me up at night. It's like it totally messes with your cortisol levels when you're on steroids. It messes with everything. So it takes me a long time to recuperate, really just from the steroids and
to get off of them, to wean off of them.
No, you get off of them. Like I'll do 3 days of, like if I've had a flare, say I am on 3 days of IV steroids, it's like the IV only takes an hour, but it's 3 days in a row.
Okay.
Okay. But it's like after steroids in general, they stay in your system for a long time, like 10 days. And so cortisol levels are spiking. You're not sleeping well. They keep me up at night. It's like they make you really hungry. So I would say do what you have to do to like nourish yourself in the moment while you're on the steroids. Try to sleep as much as you can when you can, because they do give you like, they make you crazy. They make me crazy. But then, yes, I would say all the things to nourish with calcium, magnesium, keep taking all your important supplements.
I've never taken them. I take plenty of medication, but I haven't. I know that they're very layered. There's a lot with them.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you, Nancy Jan.
To answer your color.
Back to colors.
Yeah. So,
why? What does it mean with your program?
To me, well.
Or not with your program. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to get to your program. Yeah.
Yeah. First, I would just say with color in general, because I was an image consultant, clothes really carry energy, right? And color carries energy. And so to me, it's like, what?
I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. So clothes carry energy. So it's like for me, it's like if something doesn't make you feel good, then don't put it on your body. And I'm not just saying like, well, yeah, it might make you look good, but then your body, like your brain has to feel good. I want you to emotionally feel good. I want you to feel confident. And color is really important because you might like want to wear, like if you're feeling sick, like I tell a lot of people, I met a woman once who had really bad Lyme disease, and she was wearing all black as she was getting an IV. And I said, why are you wearing black? And she was like, well, that's just what I wear all the time. And I was like, you need color in your life. Like you're not going to heal if you don't put something on, like something that's going to make you feel good. And some people do love black, and I like black too. I wear a lot of black, but like, I just feel the energy of different color. Like, you know, purple is like a royal color, and there is a I wouldn't call it a science, but maybe there is a science behind color, really, sort of, because it can bring you joy. Orange brings you joy. Red is very passionate and loving, and you know, so wear your favorite color, especially if you're going through a healing crisis. I think it's really important because I feel like it just gives you a shift of energy. So that's my answer to that.
Color.
Yeah.
It's really interesting because you know me, I'm not a girly girl. I'd rather wear pants than dresses. But for some reason, when I got diagnosed, I started buying, I think because I lost weight and I kind of felt hot. So I started buying all these dresses, and they all had a lot of color.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, it felt, and now that you're talking about like color and healing, it kind of makes sense. I could have put my black New York uniform on every day, but I felt really different when I put on a color.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
It shifts.
I love that.
A lot of comments here. So,
oh, good. Will you answer them?
Stimulates the brain like this with Alzheimer's, color stimulates the brain. I agree with that.
Stimulates brain with Alzheimer's. Rita's mother has Alzheimer's. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Agree. How I dress is how I feel. Yes, Serena. I mean, my motto was always, if you look good, you feel good too. So you gotta. It
has such an important role in it. Yeah.
It really does.
A lot of my grandmother, my beautiful grandmother, I actually have her at my morning altar, but my beautiful grandmother was from Nashville, Tennessee. Oh. And she always, isn't that funny? And she always was on point. She always had the lipstick. She always
Yeah.
had the little, the grandma little purses, which I wish I had gotten. But
Yeah.
she always, even to the end of her life, was always on point, and she would always say it really mattered.
It
And
does matter.
I think it does. So, question number 4. Now we're getting to the good, juicy part.
Okay.
Your evolution of healing, which has been an 18-year journey of many teachers and doctors and lessons along the way, has brought you to your launching of the MS stage. What, why, how? Tell us.
So, okay. So basically, I'm gonna back up for 2 seconds. I was born with they called it immune deficiency syndrome. So I really feel like I've been on this journey, like literally my whole life. Through my young years, I started acting when I was like 8 years old. Well, when I was like 4, I started taking like tap dancing lessons. And when I was 8, I started taking acting classes and dancing. And then in college, I started going into, because like senior year in high school, I played Juliet and Romeo and Juliet, and I was very into theater. And in college, I got very into directing and choreography, and that was my passion. And that's when I moved back to New York after college. I wanted to go, I wanted to work on Broadway. And then 9/11 happened 5 days later. So that kind of veered
Wow.
my world.
Yeah.
So, but we don't have to go into that. But the point is, my love of theater and dance and movement has been so important to me for so long. I mean, literally my whole life. And it created such a new world for me when I was little. And I would say in the last year and a half, I guess, after I met you, I started leading meditations with songs.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like bringing in my healing world with my love of music. And then I would say in the past year and a half, I've really gotten to the point where I was like, I love styling. I've loved it for a long time, but I felt like there's more for me in this world that I need to give. Like I'm here to do more with people. And not that I wasn't already doing a lot with women, but it was like one-on-one, right? And I feel a pull. I've been feeling this pull of like, I don't have children. So I'm like, what am I leaving behind in this world, right? And this to me, program, the MS stage is what I'm meant to do. This is my deepest work. This is my body of work that I'm creating, that I have created. And it literally combines all the things like the healing, the meditation, the movement, the dance, the improv. It combines all the things, the style. I use color is one of the things we use with movement in the MS stage. So it's like my love of the stage, my love of improv combined with the healing, different healing modalities. And I've created my own method that I'm using in the MS stage. And it's work that I've done on myself that I continue to work on with myself through movement and meditation. And then I'm giving that back. And so it's important. It's a sacred space for women to commune with each other. And literally it's women all over the world, which has been incredible.
Global.
The group I just led was women Australia, Ireland, Czech Republic, and Canada.
I love it.
So literally they're and coming from different perspectives, cultural perspectives is massive. I mean, the value that adds to the group.
Huge.
It's huge. And it's a support for,
and different healthcare. I mean, that really matters. And different healthcare.
Oh yeah. Oh, they have totally different healthcare. They have different currency. They have, it's like and this is what I'm offering is not something that they're going to get anywhere else. And then it's a healing group. I don't like to call it a support group, but I would call it a different kind of support group. It's like a healing group. And it's very positive. It's very empowering. We don't go around and talk about.
How long is the program? How many hours in the teaching?
2 hours a week for 6 weeks. So each class is 2 hours and I'm there leading the class. It's 6 women at a time. So I'll lead 6 women's groups of 6. My goal is to do multiple groups a week, just have different groups. But the hope is that the group stays together. And it's important, and the work is important, and the women, the impact and the feedback I've had from women already has just been incredible.
Tell the 7 people, we didn't get to 10 yet, no Hawaii trip. Tell us a little bit about the testimonial, some of the things that people women around the world are saying.
They've said that, just what I just said, with the value of having the women from all over versus just a one-on-one with me, like as a coach, versus just a one-on-one with me. The value of the group is massive. So that's
huge.
That's been huge. Women feel calmer. They've talked about feeling calmer, not just with their relationship with MS, but also their just in their lives in general. They have hope. So I had a woman who
they have hope.
Yeah. I have a woman who was just diagnosed a year ago, and she's like, she was lost. She didn't have a community. She didn't know other people who have MS other than the women she meets in the waiting room as she's going to the doctor at the neurologist's office, and she didn't have the resources. So she felt really lucky that she had found me. And it's been life-changing for her. It really has. Wow. And to watch her, just to be able to give her hope, and to watch these women commune with their symptoms. So one of my biggest things in the program is turning your symptom into your superpower. So I
love that.
So like whatever your worst symptom is, I'm working with the women to help them like figure out what their symptom's name is. So through meditation, I lead them through meditation to guide them to figure out what their symptom's name is, what the persona is, what they're wearing, what they like to do, like really to figure out what their symptom is there to show them and tell them, and to see them as a friend instead of an enemy, so that they can really talk to them, work with them, move with them, dance with them. I mean, so it's a really powerful, it's a mindset shift, because instead of being like, oh, I hate my leg because my leg's dragging, I talk to my leg. I've named my leg Roxy. So I talk to her when she's acting up. I'll talk to her, I got this, I can do this. And so I bring her along with me. So yeah, it's cool. It's been really cool.
You're kind of giving me chills. I remember, for anyone who doesn't know, when I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, I was on my honeymoon, which, for anyone who doesn't know, your islet cells in your pancreas are still developing what they need to function, but you only have a certain time before you're going to have insulin for type 1. They don't know the time, so they call it honeymoon, which is kind of ironic. So I also fought diabetes in the beginning, big time, and I fought insulin. And I was determined that I was going to be the hero in the world that had type 1 and never had to take insulin. And I remember Megan trying to like kind of coach me, and I have my healer trying to coach me and say, but you have to look at insulin as like a gift, 30, 40 years ago, it wasn't around. You're alive because of it. But I was not going to have it. I was like, no. I'm stubborn. I'm like, no, I'm going to do it my way, and I'm not going to ever take insulin. And anyway, anyone who knows me knows I lasted a year. I went to take care of my dad in Spain. I got very sick. I lost 40 pounds. I went to 100 pounds, lost my titties, my ass, everything. My husband called me a walking cadaver. And then when I came back, my dad lived in Spain. And when I came back to America, I automatically got on insulin, and I went back to 150 pounds from being 100 pounds. But the point why I'm bringing this in is that there's such a profound mind shift of embracing what you have. And I remember the day that I got diagnosed, I didn't sleep, and I was on Instagram at like 2 a.m, and I'm like, I'm going to make a page. And I called it Kicking Diabetes Bitch to the Curb. but to that curve, like a homegirl. And my nieces came at me, millennials, they don't, they're like, anti-no. No.
Yeah.
So that page lasted for about a week. I kind of liked it, but whatever. And then I realized, like Megan is saying, if I embrace it, this is what I have, okay? I can't reverse it. This is what I have. What can I do from it? What can I learn to heal myself? And then what can I share and teach others? And like Megan knows, the first guy that I ever coached, I coached men, came to me with type 2 and he said, crying, I think I'm going to die and I'm going to leave my 2 young children without a father. Crying hysterically. And I'd never met him. We were video chatting. I worked with him for a month. He is by far my hero. He's thriving, thriving, thriving. So I think, Megan, you've nailed it by saying that if you reverse, look, none of us want to get ill. Look, it is what it is. None of us want to have an issue or shit to deal with, but it's life. And if we have something, how can we look at it from a different way? You call your leg Rocky. Like, how brilliant is that? I think I'm going to name my insulin needle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to find.
Yeah. I give myself a shot. Remember that day we went to the park
Yeah.
outside Gabby's
We were
talk?
shooting up. Yeah, we were shooting.
I was like,
I was shooting up.
just started taking shots and I was helping you walk through that of like the process of thanking it as it goes in. And that's what I do when I give myself an injection because I have to do that every 3 times a week. Yeah, it's important. You got to talk to your body, talk to your cells, talk to your injection, talk to the medicine, thank it, like have gratitude for it because
there's so much power there. I remember Megan.
14 years I fought it. I started an MS drug for 14 years. And finally,
I remember the first.
Yeah. When I had when I had my worst episode, my doctor was like, Megan, it's time. Like, you need to get on something. And I resisted and I resisted and I resisted. And I did so much work, healing work, meditation. And finally, I got on something and began to accept my diagnosis because forever I had said I was diagnosed with MS. I was never willing to say I have it because I didn't want to own the label. And honestly, it wasn't until I was willing to start saying I have it and I finally accepted it that the true healing began. And on multiple levels.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much power. I mean, so I have this, right? I just put a new Band-Aid and I put it on wrong. But I'm flashing this all the time now.
Yes.
And it's so weird, talk about manifestation, the amount of men, not women, men that walk up to me and tell me their story. My father died of type 1 or, my brother had type 1. They come to me at work, mainly at work, because I flash it now. It's like a badge of honor. And I'm so grateful. And actually, my brother is paying for this because my union healthcare won't pay for it. But I have a goal, and I'm gonna beat this goal. I'm gonna get Dexcom with the help of our mayor who has type 1. I'm going to get it in all the hotel trade, we're 33,000 members in our union. That's my goal.
Yes.
And I have a friend who's part of a doorman, and they're 175,000 union. We've talked about this. The more people that you are part of healing, the more the healthcare system doesn't take such a choke, right? It's just a better world. The pharmaceutical companies might not be happy, but frankly, sorry. It's really about how can we educate people, Megan and Diana, with finding a way to get healthy and with what we have. So I think I'm going to have to find a name for my pen. I'm secretly Natasha, the Russian spy, but now it can't be Russian. But I love, like, Natasha is very sexy. And maybe if I make it like a sexy needle.
Whatever comes to you.
Natasha.
First thing that came to me. And then I realized, which actually a lot of the MS stage started to become born out of this, because then I realized, the musical Chicago, one of my favorite musicals, Broadway musicals.
Yeah.
Renee Zellweger in the movie played Roxy. Roxy is the name.
Oh my God.
in the musical, and I was like, well, there
So
you go.
kind of all, it
So
all
like I
comes
didn't
full
plan
circle.
that. Like the name, it's like whatever name comes to you. And I meditated on that. And it was like Roxy was the name that came to me. And then I realized, I was like, oh, right. That's why that name. Like I never used that name. And then I was like, that's why that name came to me, because then it was like the theater connection and it made
I love
sense.
that.
Yeah.
I might have to meditate on that. I mean, I'm going to Natasha right now, but
There you
I
go.
might need, I'm going to spend a day meditating.
Yeah.
I love that idea. I think
Yeah.
that's amazing.
And my
You know,
goal is
it's just,
to work with everybody. It's not just with MS too. Like that method, the method I'm using will work with anybody's symptoms, with what they're dealing with. You know, it's not just for MS.
do you have people in your group who don't have MS but have another autoimmune, or not right now?
Well, so I have a woman who's interested who has something that I had never actually heard of before, and I can't even say the name of it. I have it written down somewhere, but
It's autoimmune though?
it's very similar to MS. It shows up as if it's like you think it's very progressive MS, but it's not. So that's what she has, and I was like, yeah, you can totally join the group. I mean, because it's
Yeah.
like, you know,
Well, I mean, I think what we're talking about, I mean, you and I are still connected on so many levels, not only that we study together, but like we're both, you know, we both have been trying for the last 4 years to really find niching
yeah,
who it is that we want to coach. And we're
you're
both like, right at the same time, we're like,
yeah,
oh,
right.
because I went to IIN and I'm like, oh, I'm a health coach. I'm going to coach people who have Crohn's and this and that. And I'm like,
Yeah,
but it didn't feel right.
yeah, right.
It didn't
Yeah.
feel right.
No.
And right
I mean,
now, it, like working with men, it's so right.
yeah, like I'm not gonna do, I mean, for now, MS is my thing, right? But like, I do believe there is a place. I know that what I'm teaching will work on people with other issues too. Um, so we'll see.
Talk a
Yeah.
little bit. I'm going to go to the bonus question. We're going to wrap up. If there are any questions for anyone here, all 7 of you, we didn't make it to 10. 10 would have been a free trip to Hawaii for everyone, paid by the production team led by the director Chico. And we got a little moment for 3 more people. So just before I go
Thank
into the
you
next
for
question,
comment.
tell me about movement and why is movement so important to any of us with
Okay,
anything in life.
so it gets us out of our heads. That's why.
It gets us out of our head.
It gets you into your body on a different level, right? So you're getting totally out of your head. You're not overthinking something. You're not overanalyzing something. You're not worrying about your body, thinking about, you're just getting into it and you're communing with your body, which is really important.
Well, we all know we get in trouble when we're in our head too much, right?
Exactly. So
Yeah,
movement is getting you into your body and getting in
I love
touch with
that.
levels of your body. So to me, that's incredibly important.
Well, Andy Morgan from Arizona is very grateful. We're very grateful that you're here. Karina's out, so no Hawaii with Karina. Karina's crushing it with like a workout. She's got like 90-day workout and she's crushing it. So go, Karina. We're going to do a couple bonus questions. If there are any questions from all 6 of you, let me know. I think an interesting question is, what is the misconception of MXers? What are the non-MXers need to learn? What's the biggest misconception that we have of you?
I think the biggest misconception would be that you know, MS, like you're disabled. A lot of people aren't disabled with MS. I hate that
Very
word.
true. Look at you. I
I
hate that
hate,
word too. Oh, I hate that word.
so I can't even believe I just used it, because I'm really into words and I never use that word, but I'm using it because I feel like other people use it, so that they'll
Well,
understand.
we're not talking about you. We're talking about other people. So,
Yeah, so I think that's the biggest misconception, is that everyone with MS is disabled, whether it's they're in a wheelchair, they can't walk, they're on a cane. I have issues, trust me. I have issues with my legs. Sometimes I have a hard time getting up the stairs, but I also am super healthy. I exercise, I drive, I move, whatever. I mean,
you're very
so
active. You're very
I'm very
active.
active. So I think that's probably the biggest misconception. And some people who catch it early, I mean, these days there's so many new drugs that like some people who catch it early, and now there's a lot more resources than there were when I was first diagnosed many years ago.
Oh God, yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's more drugs, there's more information out there about diet and how important that is and all those things. So, and I know I wouldn't be as well as well as I am if I hadn't, like I went gluten-free when I was basically just first diagnosed, and 18 years ago, that was not a thing.
So wait, you went gluten-free 18 years ago. Why? Because you knew that there, yeah, you are in the running for Hawaii. Oops, sorry. Andy, like, I want Hawaii. Andy, go get 5 more people. We're down to 5. Andy, get 5 people, and everyone here will get a trip to Hawaii. Megan, tell me, wait, what was the last question I just said? Gluten-free. You went gluten-free 18 years ago. Why? And how did you know that that was what you had to do?
I think it was just like kind of, I didn't really know. I think it was just, I thought, well, maybe that would help. I don't think I really knew. I don't think there was like specific information out there. I just knew that like it was just beginning to become a thing. And, you know, now it's like super trendy, but it was just beginning to become a thing then. And so I was like, well, maybe I should try that. So I like stopped drinking alcohol, and I started eating super healthy, and I was also going to homeopathy. I was doing homeopathy and acupuncture, and I was doing all these different things because I was bound and determined that I wasn't going to start an MS drug. So I was like, I better try anything, you know, that I can do.
And did you find it, did you notice a difference when you cut that food out of your body?
Oh yeah, and then when I cut grains out of my body, that was like a whole, and that I cut grains out I think in 2014. And not that I was eating a lot of grains, but like I would have sometimes like brown rice pasta or like quinoa, you know, whatever, like I would have a little bit of grains here and there. But when I cut that out, it was people on the street in LA, at the time were like, "What have you done?" And I was like, nothing. All I did was cut grains out. Like my body shape changed, and I'm a small person anyway, but like everything changed. And I was like, oh my God, I'm sleeping better. I'm like, it was crazy. So I cut all that out way before it was even really like a trendy thing. And especially with MS too. Like now it's known that those things help, but I had done that before anybody really knew.
I love that. I love that. Okay, we covered the food and healing. So now the final question, and if anyone has any questions before we wrap it up, and then of course we're going to end with a little dance party because that's what we have to do. The final question, which I know you hate because everyone hates, whatever comes to your mind, your 3 women, for Women's History Month, your 3 favorite women, dead or alive. Boom.
Yeah, you told me that yesterday, and so my grandmother, is one of those women for sure. I would say Gabby is important to me. Gabby, I do feel that
Gabby Bernstein.
Yeah. I think I would count her on that list. And then Dr. Terry Walls would be my 3rd person because she's the one who actually has MS but got herself out of a tilt-back wheelchair through her own protocol that she created. And I'm a huge believer in what she's doing. And
production team. So she was kind of one of your teachers in the beginning? Well, no. Dr. Terry Wall?
Found out about her right after I had my worst episode in like early 2018. I think I found out about her. So she had done a TED Talk, and she had gotten out of a tilt-back wheelchair, not through drugs, through her protocol she created through food. So it felt she
I can't hear you.
Sorry, okay. She's very much validated my beliefs about how to heal MS. And so she's kind of like a mentor that I have not met her. I have her books.
I'm sure you will.
I follow her and all those things.
Where does she live? Where is she based out of?
Iowa. She teaches.
Iowa.
Yeah, and she's now working with the MS Society, like doing clinical trials. She's teaching internal medicine residents, which is incredible because think of all the
That,
amazing doctors that will come out of her work.
that they're going to learn so much. Oh my God, I love it. Yeah.
And she's all about cellular
Yeah.
health, healing from the cellular level. So I would count her. Yeah.
I think, yeah, those are three great women.
Yeah.
So on that note, I want to thank you so much. This has been
Thank
phenomenal.
you
We're going to have to do it again.
for
No one
having
won the trip to Hawaii. I'm so sorry, but got to make it to 10. And on that note, we're going to end with a little dance song. So it might just
Okay.
be you and I dancing. If you're
Okay.
still here live, just put your name in the thing and tell me you're here. Oh, who is your doctor in Charleston from Joan?
His name is Dr. Al Walker, and he's amazing. He's at MUSC. I've now seen him in person twice. I adore him. He's and he's been at it, and I'm like, please don't retire. I mean, he's gonna retire at some point. He's got to be in his 60s. I think he's probably in his 60s. He's been at it. I mean, for 30 years, he told me. So.
Well, Megan, are you comfortable if I connect you and Joan on
Yeah,
text?
of
Yeah.
course.
So
Yeah,
Joan, I'll connect you and Megan. Yeah.
I emailed Joan last night because I knew that you told me to email her my info, so I did.
Yeah.
So
I'll put
yes,
you on a chat on a text message, and that way you can share information. Joan, I can't remember where you are. I feel like you're in the South. You're not in Florida. Are you in Charleston? Joan, do you know where
I
she's
don't know.
down south? She's not in Florida. She's in
They're
maybe
great.
South Carolina. Joan, if you're still here, which I think you are,
Okay.
where are you? You're in North Carolina. South
No,
Carolina. She's in
South
South
Carolina.
Carolina.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Joan, we should meet.
Yeah. In Lexington, South
Lex,
Carolina.
I don't know where Lexington is, but South Carolina is not that big. We'll meet.
Okay.
One.
All right, this has been phenomenal. You are just such an inspiration. I'm so grateful. Jim Lanahan, you just joined. We are ending, but we're ending with a dance party, Jim. So if you like to dance,
Dance
just
with us.
come dance with us. This is Megan. I'm going to post it. She's phenomenal. Talked all about autoimmune and like healing in a different way, which I think we all can learn a different way from the norm. And let me call the production team and have them put on the music. And we're going to go out with a little Bill Withers and a
Okay.
little Lovely Day.
Love
I
it.
love you madly, baby.
I love you. Mwah. I love you so much. Thank you for having me.
Oh,
Dancing.
listen. Okay. Look, good morning, Dan. Here.
Are we dancing?
Oh my God. You hear it?
Oh, I hear it.
When I think of you. Yeah, baby. And the world's all right. Yeah, I can't sing, but whatever. Oh, production team. Oh, look at those colors, Megan.
I wore it for you.
Yeah, baby. I'm wearing them for you.
I know.
And I think like Instagram will shut me off if I play it too long.
No.
Joan, are you dancing?
I hope she
Bill
is.
Withers, Lovely Day, Rio version. I thank you all for being here, all four people.
Thanks, guys.
It's going to be a lovely day.
It is a lovely
Oh,
day.
to be
Oh, here.
a lovely day. All right. I love you, people. Dance, move your body every day. Oh, Megan, shit. Sorry. Where can people find you? I forgot that part. Where can
Yes.
people find you?
The msstage.com or
Okay.
at the stage, my handle at the MS stage or at Megan Evans, which I'm signed on to now. Yeah, that's it. The MS
And if you can't remember any of that, thank you, Marion. Thank you for being here. Marion's like my number one fan and supporter. Marion, all the way from California. If you didn't hear all of that, you want to reach out to Megan, just reach out to me. There's always something to learn when we're healing our body, and movement is the way. So I love you madly. I had a great time.
Thank you.
Talk to you later. All right. Bye, beautiful people. Out.
Bye.
Bye, Karen.